exquisite. Hey, Eric. How's it going? You really are an exquisite creature, Raven. You really should accept yourself. How can society accept you if you can't accept yourself? Save all your bullshit. I prefer the real Raven. Ta-da! I said the real Raven.
Let the challenge begin.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to my review of X-Men First Class. So, yes, X-Men First Class. That came out in 2011, the fifth X-Men film to be released. It's not actually the fifth in the chronological timeline, but it is the fifth movie to be released in the series. So, X-Men First Class. How does it stack up? Well, we shall find out. The basic plot of X-Men First Class is that it sets, it opens exactly the same way as the first movie, which is quite odd, in Poland, 1944, with the scene where we saw in the first one, which Magneto bends the gate, only slightly different. And it's basically, it goes on from there. There's the things that happen. We see that we see more of Magneto as a young kid, him being forced to unleash his powers by Sebastian Shaw, who's working with the Nazis for some reason. And we also have Charles Xavier as a young boy. He goes down into his kitchen one night to discover a young Mystique, or Raven, as her name is. So from there it moves to the 60s, where Charles Xavier is a young professor. He's young, he's going out, he's having a good time. He's with Raven. Magneto is on a personal quest for revenge for the death of his mother. He wants to find Sebastian Shaw and kill him. Meanwhile, we see Sebastian Shaw, and he wants to destroy mankind with the nuclear missiles, because this is set during the Cuban Missile Crisis. And there's this whole prophecy he has about, basically carrying on what I suppose the Nazis did, because he said, oh, we are the children of the atom, and there's all that. Also, this is about bringing the X-Men together, so you have Charles and Eric going to find all these young kids to recruit to be part of the X-Men, so they get trained up, and then they have to go and fight against Shaw and his goons in the end. So yeah, that's pretty much it, really, for X-Men First Class. And so, how is X-Men First Class? How is it? Well, I mean, I was a bit skeptical before I saw this film, hearing about it when it was in development, because I've grown very attached to the original cast of the original trilogy. I mean, we had the first two films, which were, the first one was good, second one was just fucking amazing, third one was disappointing, the fourth one was even worse. Well, not the fourth one, Origins was even worse. So, to be honest, X-Men First Class could have really gone either way. I mean, Jeremy Jones said himself, it was like two good X-Men films, two not so good ones. This was really bent on the future of the franchise. If this film had failed, the franchise would have died. It would have died. But I'm happy to say that X-Men First Class is truly first class. It really is an amazing film. I mean, a lot of people consider this the best X-Men film. I don't know if I can say that, but what I will say is that it definitely saved the franchise after a not so good place of where it was in X-Men Origins Wolverine. And I mean, this film is truly magnificent. I mean, it was the right thing to do. I mean, they had the option to go many different places, but I think going back to the very beginning and telling a pre-setup before the first X-Men film was a good idea, I thought, and I really like this film. I think it's absolutely fantastic. I mean, one of the reasons why, you know, I mean, it's a proper introduction to the X-Men saga, more so than the first one, actually, simply because this film delves into the relationship of Xavier and Magneto more than the first movie, because we actually see where the relationship sparks from, and we see Magneto's reasons for his hatred fully developed here, fully fleshed out. We see why he's so angry, why he hates mankind. I mean, and now we can see in the original trilogy why he is the way he is, and I think Fassbender, James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender, they are both steal the show for this film. They are both equally amazing in their roles. James McAvoy plays a really interesting Xavier. He's very quite young, and you know, he's a bit of a sleaze. You know, he's trying to chat up women. He's drinking booze. He's having a good time. And then he becomes a professor, and he's an expert on genetic mutation, and he is responsible for bringing all these people together. And of course they have to work with the CIA as well, which is interesting. We also see Moira McTaggart as well. I'll talk about her in a bit. But yeah, it's nice to see Xavier have like a relationship with Mystique, as in like the brother-sister relationship. Because in the original trilogy you don't really, they don't even interact. Like, you don't get any sense of, well, they didn't really develop Mystique's character in the original trilogy, which was a shame. She was there to be basically the eye candy, and you know, Rebecca Romaine did her job, but Mystique was kind of wasted before, so it's nice that they've given her much more of a character here. Jennifer Lawrence, I think, plays her really well. You can see where Mystique is conflicted. I mean, it continues more in Days of Future Past, and you know, it's just a treat. It's just a treat to see all these characters and where they came from. And I mean, there's not the typical ones like Scott, Jean, Storm. They're not in this film, although there are a couple of cameos in there. Yeah, some really good cameos. You get some different X-Men here. Some of which you'll never see again in another film, or at least you'll see maybe one or two of them. But I like the young cast, and I think it actually works. You know, it gives the series a freshness. You know, the series is now fresh. You know, you're not stuck with the same people. It doesn't feel tired. It doesn't feel tired at all. The villains, you've got Sebastian Shaw, played by Kevin Bacon. He's pretty good. I don't think he's like amazing, but I think given the storyline between him and Magneto, I think, you know, you really see how much of a prick he is. Like in the beginning, the opening scene where Magneto, like, he gets angry because when his mother gets shot, and he's going like screaming in pain and destroying everything around him. You know, that scene is tense. There's some like real tension scenes here. Like, you have that scene that I've just talked about. You have the scene in the bar where Magneto kills those guys, which is just amazing. And then you also have the scene where he takes the guy's tooth out, you know, and he goes, and he tuts at him, and it's honestly that's just tense. You know, I mean, the direction is superb. And then there's the end of the film where, spoiler alert, you know, when Shaw dies and the coin goes through his head. That is really tense. Wow. Everything just works here, I think. I think, you know, the characters are great. I mean, some of them don't do very much, but, you know, that's a given with the X-Men franchise. You're going to get characters that don't do much. Emma Frost as well. She's in this film. She gets much more of a role than she did in X-Men Origins Wolverine, and yeah, I think there's a bit of a continuity error there, because in Origins she's much younger, but in this one she's older, but this film is set before Origins, so I don't really see how that works. I don't know. I have no idea how that works. There are some major continuity errors with the X-Men series, but you know, you can just ignore Origins, to be honest. Emma Frost, she's quite good. She's pretty good. You've also got Azazel and a few others whose names I don't know. But yes, I like the story as well. Just the setting, like the story, like bringing the X-Men together for the first time. I mean, because in X-Men 1, they're kind of already established. It's just Wolverine and Rogue coming in to the mix, which is fair enough, but it would have been too many people. But I think this is the true beginning of the X-Men saga, and I think it works exceptionally well. And you know, the setting and the story really just throws you in there into the universe of the X-Men series. I think Matthew Vaughn really does a great job with making the drama poignant as well as kind of realistic, and you know they're making it feel. It feels like a classic superhero film because of when it's set. It's just, you know, if that makes sense. It doesn't feel as contemporary as the original trilogy, but that works because of where it's set and how the characters are coming together. It works. It works really well, and Matthew Vaughn was the perfect director for this. He did a superb job. He's done some other films such as Kick-Ass, Stardust, Layer Cake, a couple of others I think. I think he did Kingsman, but I haven't seen that. Overall, he's a pretty great director, and he did a great job with this film. I think the script is quite strong as well. It's a much better script than the previous two films. The action sequences, there's not many of them, but when there is action, it's really well done, and it's really tense, you know. Like when they blow up the CIA base, that's pretty cool. And the climax of the film is phenomenal. Like when Shaw dies and then, you know, Magneto goes full out on mankind, he's about to turn the missiles over. Yeah, and you know, it's really good. It's really good, and I love the drama of the film, like the relationship between Xavier and Magneto. It's like they both respect each other, but they just don't respect each other's beliefs. Like they want to be on the same page, but they have different ideas, and they would clash, and it wouldn't work. The music is good. The music is good as well. I really like the end of the film as well, when they break into prison with Emma Frost, and he says, "Oh, well, I prefer Magneto." Awesome line to end the film on, and the costume at the end is good too. I love how they've changed his costume. We'll see that again in Days of Future Past. It's a shame they didn't bring Emma Frost back for that film. I have no idea why, because yeah, no idea. No, I have no idea. The film is quite long. It gets a tad bit slow at times. I mean, I do have a couple of criticisms. It gets a tad bit slow, and during the training montage, some of the editing is a bit distracting. It reminded me of Ang Lee's Hulk, when they have that kind of cross-cutting, but it looks like a comic book. It's like got the lines in the middle of the screen, you've got different shots playing. It's like, don't do that, because it's hard to focus on one particular shot. Like, you know, you can only focus on one shot. You can't focus on all of them that are playing at the same time. And you know, there's a moment when Xavier has a fire extinguisher and he's trying to put out a fire, and it's got it as like 3 shots next to each other. It's like, why would you do that? Just have it as one shot. I've just never understood that. You know, it's trying to make it like a moving comic book. But I thought we learned from Ang Lee's Hulk. That's just the biggest criticism I have, is the editing of that scene. If you didn't edit it like that, that scene would be perfect. And of course, you know, there's a fabulous cameo by Hugh Jackman. I'm not going to repeat the line, but he definitely has the best line of the film. There's no doubt about that. Oh man, it was brilliant as well, because it also links in with the other films, which is nice. I mean, it doesn't feel too separate from the first 4 films, or any of the ones that come after. X-Men First Class is a joy. It's an absolute joy to watch. It's really, really well made. The characters are great, the story is great, the script is great, the drama is excellent, the direction is superb, music is great too. It's just a couple of editing problems, and the pacing at times can get a bit slow, but overall, this is definitely one of the best X-Men films, no doubt. And it's the biggest surprise of the X-Men saga as well. Like, I didn't expect it to be this good. I mean, it's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. There's a couple of minor quibbles, but apart from that, it's good. And the production design and art direction and everything is great. Just fabulous. So overall, I'm actually going to give X-Men First Class a well-deserved 10 out of 10. It is worthy of a 10 out of 10, really is. And it's a shame Matthew Vaughn hasn't come back to direct an X-Men film. I think in the future maybe they should consider that. They should get him to come back and direct another one, because he's very good. So yeah, that's my review of X-Men First Class. Tune in next time for my review of The Wolverine, which will be coming very soon. I have seen X-Men Apocalypse, but I haven't fully fleshed out my thoughts on it yet, so I want to go and see it again before I do my review, to make sure that I'm actually happy with my rating for it. So yeah, my review of The Wolverine coming up next, so until then, so long fans, I'm Mr. Titus11, and see ya.